Let's shift our attention to Taiwan. China is still fuming. American lawmakers are still needling China. It began with Nancy Pelosi, and yesterday another group of U.S. lawmakers landed in Taipei. They say they're there to prevent a war.
At this moment of uncertainty, we must do everything we can to maintain peace and stability for Taiwan. We have a moral obligation to do everything we can to prevent an unnecessary conflict. And Taiwan has demonstrated incredible restraint and discretion during challenging times.
That was Senator Ed Markey. He represents Massachusetts in the U.S. Congress. He's leading the delegation to Taiwan this time. Was his delegation successful in its mission? Was it able to diffuse the tension? On the contrary, it only aggravated the situation. Last week, China had stopped the drills around Taiwan. Now they've resumed them. The Chinese military is making open threats again. How will the U.S. respond this time? And just like Pelosi's visit, this is an overnight stop. The lawmakers spent just a day in Taiwan, but this delegation was not as big as Pelosi's. Just 5 American lawmakers visited Taiwan. What for? They came with an exhaustive agenda: U.S.-Taiwan relations, regional security, trade and investment, global supply chains, climate change, all sorts of things. Now, these lawmakers want to work with Taiwan on all these fronts. That's what they say. They're sending a big message because this was a bipartisan delegation, meaning both Democrats and Republicans were part of this group. So both American parties are trying to show their support to Taiwan. For Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen, this is an opportunity. She's trying to rope in as many allies as she can.
The United States loves war, and the United States loves to provoke wars. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the last 70 years of United States history. If you disagree with me, well, you're wrong. And they want nothing more than to go to war with China. The United States just confirmed that it is, in fact, sending U.S. warships right now to the heart of Taiwan and the Taiwan Strait, which is something that China said they will absolutely not take lightly. Let me read this headline just a few moments ago. Will China mess with U.S. warships headed for Taiwan Strait? The U.S. has thrown down the gauntlet. A showdown may come in the coming weeks. In the coming weeks, we could be at war if sanity does not prevail. White House and Pentagon spokesman keep insisting, as Undersecretary of Defense for Policy Colin Kahle did on August 14th, just yesterday. He said, what's important for us right now is to make sure that Beijing understands that our forces in the region will continue to operate, to fly, to sail, wherever international waters allow. That includes the Taiwan Strait. And he basically says, we're throwing down the gauntlet. We are coming in.
We're coming into your hood.
Like, this is your backyard. This would be the equivalent of China sending a number of warships
to the Caribbean.
To the Caribbean, or even higher than that. I would even argue, like, hey, right off the coast of Miami, Florida. Like, hey, here we are, right here, right on your backs. We would not tolerate that. Again, we have something called the Monroe Doctrine, which is something that James Monroe, President of the United States, enacted, which says nobody in the East can come to the Western Hemisphere and be in our waters. We rule the waters of the Western Hemisphere, thus the United States. It's something we wrote, like it's our own document.
But these are carefully chosen words, right? We will go wherever international waters allows. So it's one of those, like, I'm not touching you, but I'm not touching you, right? I'm right here where you don't want me to be, and strong words are coming as a result. But we can be here.
Yeah, we can be here.
These are the rules.
So now the question is, will China send their own warships? Right?
Yes.
So that this was the response that I was thinking about overnight. And yes, sure enough, we got word before the show that China is flexing its military muscle near Taiwan. The war games, new war games, come in response to the visit of a U.S. congressional delegation to the self-governing land.
Now, just last week, China had put a pause on these military drills for a few days in order to release a white paper to Taiwan saying, this is what we propose. You need to seriously think about this, right? Because we don't want anyone else in this region.
Your boneheads in Congress, maybe this is why. your boneheads in Congress just moved us one step closer to war with China. And the reason that China has moved its warships into Taiwan is as a result of the United States sending members of Congress, once again, the Senate, into Taiwan. They're not even hiding anymore. First, it was Nancy Pelosi heading to Taiwan to stir up a hornet's nest. Now, just a few hours ago, another group of senators did it again. It was a surprise trip.
What it is a delegation of 5 senators who are coming in as a group, right? And this is their plane landing.
Yeah, this was their plane landing. So they, again, 5 senators just showing up to Taiwan. Okay, this is and by the way, this is bipartisan this time, so it's not just Nancy Pelosi. But I saw this, I couldn't believe it. Going to Taiwan again, for what purpose?